Ulfrin. I'm, heading up north to the Skaal village, and I just figured while I was on the way here, if you'd be willing to, say, give me a little advice. I mean, I've never spoken to the Skaal before. Ah, the Skaal, eh? Well, if you must know, they are quite different from us Thurskin, the, outcasts that made your magnificent cryogenic armor there, oh Cryo Knights. Oh, yeah, that. Well, anything you can give me on the Skaal? Well, I'm not sure if a Dunmer like you, Valor Dreth, would be able to withstand the Skaal. I mean, they do have a few deities that, well, present a bit of a problem when it comes to your people. You see, their patron deity, Ysgramor, well, let's just say the Skaal have a bit of a knack for killing elves. What? Yeah, so I'd best keep my head on a swivel if I were you. I'll, keep it in mind. Oh, great. What have I gotten into? Oh, sweet Azura. I don't know if this is a good idea suddenly, but I guess I don't have much of a choice. Oh, Lord. Like, what are they going to think? I mean, their patron divine is Ysgramor. And what are they going to think when a elf hands them a skull of their people as tribute? I probably shouldn't have my mace out, should I? I'll probably view it as a threat. What do they think when they see that I have Stalrim armor? I mean, this ice is like sacred to their people, isn't it? I'll just ask this guy. Maybe I can get some assistance.
Come on.
Hey, hail, friend. You're not of the Skaal. Speak to Thorsten Heartfang in the Great Hall. He is our leader, and we'll deal with you. Oh yeah, and the Great Hall is just there behind me. Oh, thank you. I'll, be on my way. Whew. And here I was wait. I'm going into the Great Hall. Oh, boy. He did say Arston will deal with me. What does he actually mean by... Okay, just hand him the skull and it'll be all fine. Just hand him the head of his people and... Hello, Thorsten, right?
Why are you among the Skaal?
What do you want, stranger? The Skaal wish you no harm, but you will mind your manners while you are within our walls. We will make no exceptions. Now, are you here because I recently heard about some sort of attack on the Imperial fort? Is that really what you're here for? Yes, you see, the fort was quite sieged by some foul beasts, both wolf and man, from reports. Know anything like that? I mean, those soldiers. They cut their trees and dig their holes, and have little to show after a day's toll. They do not respect this land, or its creatures, and for that, I find them offensive. But, though I have no love for them, the Skaal would never do such a thing. We prefer to let the Imperials kill themselves slowly, honestly. But these creatures that attacked, those were not wolves of this island. I mean, we have wolves on this island, but not both wolf and man you speak of, werewolves. Now, have you finished your business here? Yes, well, I mean, I suppose I did bring this as tribute. You, oh my, ugh. You say you've brought the bones of one of our ancestors? Stupid Imperials. They need to learn how to leave things as they are. Still, it is good that you have returned this to the Skaal. Perhaps this is hope for you and your kind. You are welcome here for the moment, but there is much to atone for. Oh, that's being? Well, the Imperials in their fort have brought nothing but harm to these lands. They cut the trees and dig the earth. They are wasteful, lazy, and careless. They have no comprehension of the oneness of the land. It is this oneness that the Skaal derive our strength. And the Imperials have defiled these lands. Well, it does sound like this oneness is quite a great thing. Do you think anyone of my people could achieve oneness? Well, this is what the Skaal gives the Skaal power. I mean, it is the balance of our lands, the trees and the water, wolf and bear. The Imperials have no respect for this balance, and we pay the price. Well, I mean, I'm sorry to hear that they've done so much to your land. I mean, like, I assure you that I've only had a minor part in such a matter. Yes, yes. Though, through the carelessness, the Imperials have upset the natural order, the oneness of the land. This is their nature. It must be balanced once again, and the All-Maker appeased. I wish for you to make this things right, Valor Dreth. You will be the one to restore the power of the Skaal. Oh, you're telling me that you mean tell me that you're not at full power at the I mean, I suppose I could help with one or two things. It is only right that you do this, as it is your people who have caused the damage. Speak with Korsk Windeye in the shaman's hut. He will give you further instructions. Oh, I mean this Korsk fellow, I'm new here, know where I could find his shaman hut, or if you can give me advice on what he's like, and perhaps how I should talk to him, how I should show respect and whatnot. Yes, well, the shaman, he should spend more time with the steel and lesson studies. Still, he can provide good advice. Oh, understood. Well, suppose I'm safe here, for the most part. If I were a shaman's hut. Well, I mean, that certainly looks like it, doesn't it? Oh, I mean, this place seems to be well decorated, but then again, so is that place. Quite a few places around here. But I mean, this decoration here definitely looks like a shaman's hut to me. Are you,
Greetings to you, wanderer. Why have you returned to our village?
returned? This is my first time here. Speaking of which, are you Korsk by chance? Greetings to you, villager. Why have you come to our village? Well, there's been a bit of a attack at this imperial fort. Apparently wolfmen know anything like that? I can't really tell you any more about that. If there is information, Heartfang will have it. Sorry, I can do no more. Well, anyways, I've also come here because apparently I was sent here to, restore the power of the Skaal and whatnot, but like, what could I do, right? So Heartfang wishes for you to do this, does he? Yes, yes. Then I will assist you. There is a ritual that must be completed on Solstheim. You will find 6 standing stones, each representing one of the 6 gifts of the Allmaker, Ysgramor. At each of these stones, a ritual must be completed. Once the ritual of the gifts is completed, the oneness should be restored. Ritual of the gifts, you say? I mean, I did notice a few stones around here. Are those the right things I'm supposed to, I guess, interact with? And if so, like, what am I supposed to do at each one? Well, it would be too much for any knots of the Skaal to remember. Here, take this. It'll explain the rituals and guide you on your way. This book may be of some use to you as well. If you are to remain with the Skaal, you should understand our beliefs. Oh. What are these? Looks like it got a story and a map. Well, this is quite magnificent, isn't it? Definitely a lot of, stones around here. What am I supposed to do at each one? I suppose I should sit down and by this fire and take a better look at the story here, huh? Sit quietly, child, and listen, for the story I tell you is a story of the ages. But what is it, grandfather? Is it a story of heroes and beasts? The grandfather looked patiently at the child. He was growing into a fine boy. Soon he would see the value in the stories, the lessons that were taught to each generation. Just listen, child. Let the story take root in your heart. In a time before now, long before now, when the Skaal were new, there was peace in the land. The sun was hot, the crops grew long, and the people were happy in the peace that the All-Maker provided. But the Skaal grew complacent and lazy, and they took for granted the lands and all the gifts the All-Maker had given them. They forgot, or chose not to remember, that the adversary is always watching, and that he delights in tormenting the All-Maker and his chosen people. And so it was the adversary that came to be among the Skaal. The adversary has many aspects. He appears in unholy beasts and the incurable plague. At the end of seasons, we will know him as Thortag, the world devourer. But in these ages, he came to be known as the Greedy Man. The Greedy Man. That is what we call him, for to speak his name would certainly bring ruin on the people. He lived among the Skaal, for many months. Perhaps he was once just a man, but when the adversary entered into him, he became the greedy man, and that is how he is remembered. It came to be one day that the powers of the Skaal left him. The strength left the arms of the warriors, and the shaman could no longer summon the beasts to their sides. The elders thought that surely the Allmaker was displeased, and some suggested that the Allmaker had left them forever. It was then that the greedy man appeared to them and spoke.
You and the Skaal
Have grown fat and lazy. I have stolen the gifts of the Allmaker. I have stolen the oceans, so you will forever know thirst. I have stolen the lands and the trees and the sun, so your crops will wither and die. I have stolen the beasts, so you will go hungry. And I have stolen the winds, so you will live without spirit of the Allmaker. And until one of you can reclaim these gifts, the Skaal will live in misery and despair. For I am the greedy man. That is my nature. And the greedy man disappeared. The members of the Skaal spoke for many days and nights. They knew that one of them must retrieve the gifts of the Allmaker, but they could not decide who it should be. I cannot go, said the elder, for us, must stay to lead the Skaal and tell our people what is law. I cannot go, said the warrior, for I must protect the Skaal. My sword will be needed in case the greedy man reappears. I cannot go, said the shaman, for the people need my wisdom. I must read the portents and offer my knowledge. It was then a young man called Ava lifted his voice. He was strong of arm and fleet of foot, though he was not yet a warrior of the Skaal. I will go, said Ava, and the Skaal laughed. Hear me out, the boy continued. I am not yet a warrior, so my sword will not be needed. I cannot read the portents, so the people will not seek my counsel. And I am young and not yet wise in the ways of the law. I'll retrieve the gifts of the Allmaker from the greedy man. If I cannot, I will not be missed. The Skaal thought on this briefly and decided to let Ava go. He left the village the next morning to retrieve the gifts. Ava first set out to retrieve the gift of water, so he traveled to the Waterstone. It was there the Allmaker first spoke to him. Travel west to the sea and follow the swimmer of the waters of life. So Ava walked to the edge of the ocean, and there was the swimmer, a black hawker sent from the Allmaker. The swimmer dove into the waters and swam very far, and far again. Ava was strong, though, and he swam hard. He followed the swimmer to a cave, swimming deeper and deeper, his lungs burning and his limbs exhausted. At last he found a pocket of air, and there, in the dark, he found the waters of life. Gathering his strength, he took the waters and swam back to the shore. Upon returning to the Waterstone, the Allmaker spoke. You have returned the gift of water to the Skaal. The oceans again will bear fruit, and their thirst will be quenched. Ava then traveled to the Earthstone, and there the Allmaker spoke to him again. into the cave of hidden music and hear the song of the earth. So Avar traveled north and east to the cave of hidden music. He found himself in a large cavern where the rocks hung from the ceiling and grew from the ground itself. He listened there and heard the song of earth, but it was faint. Grabbing up his mace, he struck the rocks and the floor in time with the song, and the song grew louder until it filled the cavern and his heart. Then he returned to the Earthstone. The gift of the earth is the Skaal once again, said the Allmaker. The lands are rich again and will bear life. Avar was tired as the sun burned him. The trees offered no shade, and there was no wind to cool him. Still he traveled on to the Beast Rock, and the Allmaker spoke. Find the good beast and end his suffering. Avar traveled through the woods of the Inns for many hours until he heard the cries of a bear from over a hill. As he crested a hill, he saw the bear, a Falmer's arrow piercing its neck. He checked the woods for the Falmer, for that is what they were, though some say they are not, and finding none, approached the beast. He spoke soothing words, and came upon it slowly, saying, Good beast, I mean you no harm. The Allmaker has sent me to ease your suffering. Hearing these words, the beast ceased his struggles, and laid his head at Avar's feet. Avar grasped the arrow, and pulled it from the bear's neck. Using the little nature magic he knew, Avar tended the wound, though it took the last a bit of his strength. As the bear's wound closed, Avar slept. Then he awoke, and the bear stood over him. The remains of a number of the Falmer were strewn about. He knew that the good beast had protected him during the night. He traveled back to the Beast Rock, the bear by his side, and the Allmaker spoke to him again. You have returned the good beast, the gift of the beasts, once again. The good beast will feed the Skaal when they are hungry, clothe them when they are cold, and protect them in times of need. Avar's strength had returned to his, so he traveled on to the tree stone, though the good beast did not follow him. When he arrived, the Allfather spoke to him. The first trees are gone, and must be replanted. Find the seed and plant the first tree. Avar traveled again through the Ristag forest, searching for the seeds of the first tree, but he could not find none. Then he spoke to the tree spirits, the living trees. They told him that the seeds have been stolen by one of the Falmer, for they are the servants of the adversary, and this Falmer was hiding them deep in the forest, so that none would ever find them. Avar traveled to the deepest part of the forest, and there he found the evil Falmer, surrounded by lesser tree spirits. Avar could see that the spirits were in his thrall, and that he used the magic of the seeds and spoke in their secret's name. Avar knew he could not stand such a force, and that he must retrieve the seeds in secret. Avar reached into his pouch and drew out his flint. Gathering leaves, he started a small fire outside the clearing where the Falmar and the enscrolled spirits milled. All the Skaal know the spirits hatred of the fires, for the fires ravaged the trees they serve. At once the nature of the spirits quelled the flame, took hold, and they rushed to quell the flames. During the commotion, Ava snuck behind the farmer and snatched the pouch of seeds, stealing away before the evil being knew they were gone. Ava returned to the tree stone. He planted the tree in the ground, and the Allmaker spoke to him. The gifts of trees is restored once again. The trees and plants will bloom and grow, and provide nourishment and shade. Avar was tired, for the sun would only burn and the winds would not yet cool him. But he rested briefly in the shade of the trees. His legs were weary, his eyes heavy, but he continued on, traveling to the Sunstone. Again, the Allmaker spoke. The gentle warmth of the sun is stolen, so now it only burns. Free the sun from the halls of penumbra. And so Avar walked west over the frozen lands until he reached the halls of penumbra. The air inside was thick and heavy, and he could see no farther than the end of his arm. Still he felt his way along the walls, though he heard the shuffling of feet, and knew that this place held the unholy beast who would tear his flesh and eat his bones. For hours he crept along, until he saw a faint glow far at the end of the hall. There from beyond a sheet of perfect ice came a glow so bright he had to shut his eyes, lest they be forever blinded. He plucked the flaming eye from one of the unholy beasts and threw it at the ice with all his might. A small crack appeared in the ice, then grew larger. Slowly the light creeped out between the cracks, widening them, splitting the ice wall into pieces, and a deafening crack. The wall crumbled, and the light rushed over Avar, and through the halls he heard the shrieks of the unholy beasts as they were blinded and burned. He ran out of the halls, followed the light, and collapsed on the ground outside. When he was able to rise again, the sun warmed him, and he was glad for that. He traveled back to the Sunstone, where the Allmaker spoke to him. The gift of the sun is the skulls once again. It will warm them and give them light. Avar had one final gift to recover, the gift of the winds, so he traveled to the Windstone for one of the western coasts of the island. When he arrived, the Allmaker spoke to him, giving him his final tasks. Find the greedy man and release the wind from its captivity. So Avar wandered the land in search of the greedy man. He looked in the trees, but the greedy man did not hide there, nor did he hide near the oceans or the deep caves, and the beasts had not seen him in the dark forests. Finally, Avar came to a crooked house, and he knew that here he would find the greedy man. "Who are you?" shouted the greedy man. "That you would come to my house." "I am Avar of the Skaal," said Avar. "I am not a warrior, shaman, or elder. If I do not return, I will not be missed. But I have returned the oceans and the earth, the trees, the beasts, and the sun. And I will turn the winds to my people. But we may feel the spirit of the All-Maker in our souls again. And with that, he grabbed up the greedy man's bag and tore it open. The winds rushed out with gale forces, sweeping the greedy man up and carrying him off. Far from the island, Avar breathed in the winds and was glad. He walked back to the windstone, where the All-Maker spoke to him a final time. You have done well, Avar. You, the least of the Skaal, have returned my gifts to them. The greedy man is gone for now, and should not trouble your people again. In your lifetime, your All-Maker is pleased. Go now, and live according to your nature. And Avar started back to the Skaal village. And then what happened, grandfather? What do you mean, child? He went home. No, when he returned to the village, the child continued. Was he a warrior? Or taught the ways of the shaman? Did he lead the Skaal into battle? I do not know. That is where the story ends, said the grandfather. But that is not an ending. That is not how stories end. The old man laughed as he got up from his chair. Is it not? Huh. Well, that was quite the fable. Reminds me of the one my old man used to tell me by the fire. Well, I suppose if this is my task ahead, if I first follow in the steps of Avar. It appears as though he took on the Waterstone first. And it seems to be quite a ways away. So this is the Waterstone. Guess that legend was actually right after all. Suppose if that is the case and I need to go seek all of them, it's gonna be quite the task.